right, let's talk about this division, Mike. Over the past 3 seasons, the Falcons have gone 2-4, 2021, 2022. All right, 1-5 in 2020, which seems like ages ago. Against the division, we're talking about our division. So again, this is Bucks, right? We play them twice a year. This is Carolina and the Saints.
We got beat by Taysom Hill a lot. Remember all the jokes we make about Taysom Hill? What's Taysom Hill against us? Like 3-2 or 3-1?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is, Mike.
Right.
So 5-13 against our rivals in that span. So again, we're talking about 2020, 2021, 2022. 5-13. So that's not great. With that said, we're talking about winning this division this year. That means the Falcons have to at least go 500 or better in 2023 to end up on top of the division. Right. Well, history says over the last 3 years, we haven't been able to do that. Now, do you chalk that up to, again, rebuild, talent not good enough, offensively, again, Coach Art not scoring enough points? We could say there were a lot of things, but, Mike, if we think we're going to win this division, we got to have a better record than we had in 2020, 2021, and 2022.
Period. The first thing you guys know this. You got to win this division. If you're going to do anything, it's a bad division. Part of the reason we got the easiest schedule in the league is because we play in this division against those other teams, and the Saints are just ahead of us. So I joked around with Carl earlier today. Somebody sent me a link to the ESPN article about their PFI, their power football. Another one of these ridiculous ESPN indexes. It means nothing. Pretty simple, Carl. Think the Chiefs are pretty good. Think the Eagles are pretty good.
Yeah.
And then there's the teams that are not so good. And then there's teams that you just don't really know what we're going to be yet. I couldn't definitively tell you that Bryce Young is going to be ready for the NFL. Conversely, I couldn't tell you that Bryce Young is not going to be ready. I think maybe he comes in and shows out. He's performed high. Again, every challenge he's accepted everywhere he's been. So maybe the Carolina Panthers sneak up on you. Maybe we sneak up on the rest of the league with all the money we've spent that nobody seems to be talking about, and the fact that Bijan Robinson and the weapons we've got are going to take some of the pressure off of Ritter. Ritter was on Good Morning Football today?
He was.
And he's making the rounds. I just think he's just not a brand yet. And so people don't respect us because he's only got 4 games under his belt.
I agree with that. And that can change, and it will, and it can change fairly quickly. If we start 5-0, trust me, people are going to be talking about Desmond Ritter and what the Falcons are doing. Here's Ritter talking about the offense, and everybody's asking, how explosive this offense can be.
As an offense, you look for explosive plays and get them any way you can, whether that's to Drake, whether that's to Kyle, a guy like Jonnu, Matt Collins, it doesn't matter. But then, when you can just hand the ball off and give it to a guy like Tyler Algier or Bijan or CP and let them go, it just makes my job a lot easier. So, when they drafted Bijan, I just knew that, this offense has something to be explosive. We're able to go out there and, whether it's in the run game, pass game, play action, doesn't matter. We think that we're going to be pretty explosive.
Mike, how smart is Desmond Ritter? He didn't forget anybody. He laid out everybody. He was making sure he named out everybody on the offense. Oh, it's easy if you have Drake and CP. And he named everybody.
It was like the beginning of Romper Room. And I see Kyle, and I see Jonnu, and I see Bijan, and I see Tyler.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly right. And Mac.
Yes, he was Mac Hollins, right?
So, hey man, you got to know your team, and I just think this kid. I'm so over these arguments. We got to convince the fan base, and I get it. That there's other guys you want and whatever. I just want to see this kid ball out. But so far, he's for what it's worth, give the kid some respect. He is saying and doing all the right
things. Here's Desmond Ritter talking about facing Bryce Young, who was drafted by the Carolina Panthers. We just gave you our division record over the past 3 years: 2-4, 1-5. You total them out: 2020, 21, 22, 5-13 against our rivals in that span. We got to be better. Here's Desmond Ritter on Bryce Young.
Yeah, obviously he's a great player. Both on and off the field, he's a great person. He's just smart. He has the intangibles, and then you talk about on the field stuff. He's just able to deliver every ball that there can be. And then obviously the way he manages his game is great. And for us, obviously we get to see each other twice a year. So it's going to be a fun matchup. Obviously he's one up on me, so I got to get one back on him. I'll look to do that first week.
He's one up on me. It's going to be fun to watch these guys, just like it was fun when Drew Brees came into this division, Mike, and you had Matt Ryan, and you knew that you had some of the top quarterback play in the NFL. I don't know how good these guys are going to be, either one of them. But if we get that right for the next decade, if you're able to say, hey, these two guys are going to be battling, because again, Tampa, if Baker Mayfield is the answer, great. But I don't know if that's the long-term answer. That may be the short-term answer. And then you talk about the other team in this division, Mike, which is the Saints. Derek Carr signed a 3-year deal, I think it was. They restructured it. The Saints' window is closing.
Well, you still got Ollie at wide receiver, came on from Ohio State.
Yes.
Thomas is still there. Whatever he's going to do, if he's upset or angry, Sean Payton's not there anymore. But I think Vegas and I think the media who covers the NFL, they look at the Saints like they're going to grind out 10 or 11 wins with Derek Carr and go to the play. They might not do anything in the playoffs, but they're going to win this division because they got a guy, and they still got Cameron Jordan, and they got weapons. To me, Sean Payton made everything. He was the guy that stirred that drink.
I agree.
And I think that's where it starts and ends with them. But because Carr, if you feel he's a dude, but he's not the dude, he's still better than what we've got based on experience. So that's why they're getting the love.
They are getting the love, and I love it because I don't mind going under the radar. I just want to beat the Saints. I don't mind going under the radar.
No, and that's why when you and I were doing, the schedule came out, we did, it's radio law. You have to do the wins and losses. So we did that, and I said, I think we can go 10-7 if we sweep the Saints. We played the Saints twice in the last 5 weeks of the season. Hey, we made some roster moves today, just real quick. Remember the big story during the camp last year? The lacrosse player turned football player?
Of course.
Jared Bernhardt, that everybody kind of was excited about. He had the touchdown catch last year in the preseason.
He sure did.
He gone.
What do you mean?
He gone. Yeah, they cut him. They placed him on the reserve/retired list. We picked up J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, former Stanford second-round draft pick. Now, I don't know what this guy's got left in the tank, but this dude was a second top 60 pick for the Eagles back in 2019. Didn't work out, wound up in Seattle, and now we're going to roll the dice with Whiteside.
All right. And you're saying Turtle Bernhardt retired? That's why he's on the retired list? Okay, so, wow. All right. So he
That was
steps
a hell of
away.
a story.
No doubt.
Got to play, wear a uniform for a couple of weeks.
And I'm guessing this is one of those things where if he decides to come back, we still own his rights, right? That's kind of the circumstances. So
That's a big if there, Carl.
Well, yeah.
Hey, by the way, I looked it up phonetically, and it says it's like the Catalonian way, like Barcelona. So am I pronouncing it Arcega-Whiteside, or is it Arcega-Whiteside?
I've heard J.J. Arcia
All
Whiteside.
right, well, here's what it says right here. I got the phonetics, and it's got the TH. So all of a sudden, Carl, we'll fly from Barcelona to Ibiza.
Yes, Ibiza.
And then we'll see Mr. Whiteside play the football. Anyway, he's on the roster for now.
All right, we'll see. Listen, they are going to set themselves up for camp. We're a long ways away from that, but you're going to have 90 guys at camp. Mike, you're going to try to get a look at a bunch of different wide receivers and maybe guys that can help you. But for some reason, with the Mac Hollins signing and looking at the numbers, he's your number 2 wide out. He's your number 2 wide receiver.
Unless, and again, because it's hard to quantify if you feel that Pitts will be your tight end / wide receiver. So it would be Drake and him would be maybe even in the touches, and then somewhere Mac Williams fills in the rest.
I just think if you said, give me your 11 on the board, right, and you started filling the board out, and you had Drake London wide receiver, and then you got the Pitts at tight end, and on the other side, you got to put wide receiver number 2, it's Mac Hollins. Right now, that's what it would look like.
And then you get to Scotty Miller.
Correct.
In the slot, potentially.
Yep.